So I'm sure a lot of people have one little question that's kind of, wandering throughout their minds right now. And that is why some people are so, I guess you could say, well, not necessarily, but kind of hung up on the whole Gadget zipper thing from the Rescue Ranger film. Even though everybody from, I think it was Screen Rant to CBR, Comic Book Resources that is, and other notable websites, news articles, entertainment sites, have all basically said that, you know, that people are getting upset for nothing, that they're missing the in joke, the meta in joke. I mean, they even stated what I've stated before about it, and others have stated about it. And that is the fact that, the way the film portrays the Rescue Rangers and the show is the Rescue Rangers, are a show. It is a show within the real world. And that the Rangers themselves are actors and actresses. So even though on the show, it may seem like, okay, Gadget's got a choice between Chip and Dale, offset, outside of the show, behind the scenes, she could end up with somebody else. And in this case, it could be someone like Zipper. I mean, they even describe the fact that Zipper is treated equally, like a real person, instead of how he is on the show. Now, some people do understand that. They get it. And even those that don't like, this little in-joke that the Lonely Island Boys put out, to play around with that, even those that do get it, they still don't like it. And again, people are wondering what's the hang-up. Why are people so hung up on it, even if they know, or even if they know and understand it's an in-joke, why are people so hung up on it? Well, it's kind of like, basically, if you took an established relationship, romantic relationship, or teased one that, was always, seen throughout other series, and then you go and see, this movie based around it, and then the way, the movie is set up, you find out that, oh, that's what we thought, but that's not what happened. And then you see that one character ended up with another, and then the other ended up with another, and vice versa. It just doesn't, basically it just doesn't seem like, the peg is being put into the right slot, if you know what I mean. And that gets, that does get under people's skin. When you think, oh, I could fit this into this one hole, and it doesn't fit, and you realize, well, I tried. When you realize, okay, I tried, obviously it doesn't work, it's not going to fit, it's because, a lot of people have told you, or at least alluded to the fact, that those pieces won't go together. And that's how folks look at the Gadget zipper thing. Like, even if they understand and, respect the fact that, okay, it's an in-joke, we get the idea, we understand that, it's more along the lines of, even though they understand the reasoning behind it, the joke behind it, it's still something that they feel is like putting a square peg in a roll, a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work. It doesn't really work. It's very odd, and doesn't it just doesn't seem right. It's kind of like with, let's say, the Sonic franchise. There's a lot of fans that feel that, the right pieces for Sonic, romantic-wise, to be with is either Amy Rose or Sally Acorn. But others will give him other relationships, possibly with characters like Blaze and, maybe even Vanilla, believe it or not, or even Rouge. And they'll explain the reasonings why they work. But to others, you put Sonic in those kind of relationships, like with a Blaze, like with a Rouge, maybe even with an Amy and a Sally, maybe even a Bunny. And, they look at the fact that it doesn't work. They'll look at some of those relationships as, Sonic being that square peg being put into a round hole. It doesn't fit. And that goes with any relationships fans would like to see him in when it comes to a character like Sally, or a character like Amy, or a character like Blaze or Rouge or Vanilla, you name it. Some may think it's a perfect fit. Others look at it as that round peg trying to be, or trying to have that round hole, I should say, trying to have a square peg placed into it, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. Period. It's kind of like, let's say, people looking at friendship is magic. Some folks feel that Spike and Rarity is a square peg trying to be fit into a round hole. It doesn't make sense, it doesn't work. But yet a majority of the fan base thinks otherwise. They look at the fact that they are the perfect match. They fit, they work. If you catch my drift, they fit, they work. And let me just check something here, guys. Yeah, I'm just checking the time that I gotta clock in a little bit. But they look at that and they're like, that's the perfect fit. It works, there's no issues. Well, others look at it otherwise. Folks will look at Spike being with Smolder or Spike being with Ember, because they're both dragons, as that's the perfect fit. Round peg, round hole, boom, perfect. No issues. But yet, there's a lot of fans that feel otherwise. You kind of get what I'm saying? It's like everybody understands and gets where, a lot of fans are coming from, and even those that basically work on the show or report about the show or the movies, whatever, they get where others are coming from as well. They see what you're trying to say. But they also could see that, yes, you do understand it, perhaps, as to why, the Lonely Island Boys went in this direction. Even though you may understand it, they could see that. But what they're trying to explain is, hey, you get it, you understand the joke, then why are you so hung up about it? And obviously your answer is, or obviously your answer and anybody else's answer that gets asked that in the past week or so, is it's like a it's like a square peg being put into a round hole. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't seem right. It's like, something is off about it, even though people can understand and respect the meta in-joke about it, of what happens behind the scenes of a lot of shows between actors and actresses. But again, as crazy as a comparison it is, you take what I just said about Sonic being in relationships, the Rarity Spike deal, and people will look at that and say, some of the relationships you want to have Sonic in is like putting a square peg into a round hole. It doesn't work. Some would say the Spike Rarity deal in Friendship is Magic, it's like putting a square peg into a round hole. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. Something is off. And, that's how a lot of people feel about this. That is why, in the end, I'm going to make this quick, why people are so hung up about the whole situation, even though they probably do understand the meta in-joke about it. The reason they're hung up about it is because, even though they understand and respect it and they get it, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like it's a round peg, not a round peg, but a square peg being put into a round hole. It just doesn't fit. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that real quickly before I clock in. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Super thanks will be enabled after the premiere. Super chats and all that will be will be open and available in the live stream during the premiere. And until next time, guys, I'm going to go clock into work now. I do apologize for the wind. It is windy today, but on this last day of May. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later.